All right, Town Council public hearing and regular meeting, lucky us. Can I get a roll call?
Newman present.
Holloway present.
Udom present. Austin present.
I was going to say Claudette.
Buckles
I was
present.
going to say
We have established a quorum. Can we take a moment of silence? And I pledge allegiance to the flag All right, we got public hearing, zoning text amendments. All right?
Hell's breaking loose.
Libby and I are keeping people alert tonight.
This is like comedy hour tonight. All right, got a public hearing for zoning text amendments 2026-1 Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act. Katie, you're up.
Yeah, let me do a quick staff report. Good evening. We've been at this particular ordinance revision for a long time, for almost 2 years. So we started in early 2025. Staff and the Planning Commission have been working on revising this article relative to changes that came down through the General Assembly on the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act. At that point, we met with DEQ staff to assist in getting their review of our proposed amendment and where we sit. They provided us comments back and forth on that. Additionally, the state released a model ordinance for us to use as well as a reference document. They asked us to then put it on hold for a little bit because they still were in the midst of doing the administrative regulations development. They had not finalized those, so we did pause for a bit. We then resumed again last summer when they finally finished all the regulations that needed to be applicable to this. With that, it brought further changes to not just our chapter dealing with the Chesapeake Bay Act. It brought changes in Appendix A, which is definitions, and Appendix C, which is the site plan ordinance as well. So we've been through the ringer on this one. It's been through extensive review. This is like, I think, your 4th time seeing it, but here you go. So with that said, all of this is trying to get us up to date on what the Chesapeake Bay Act is and requirements associated with administering it. One of the items that I still owe you as a working product, it will not be here for tonight, but it will be forthcoming in the next 2 months or so, is we are mapping the Chesapeake Bay Preservation areas, the shoreline, stream bank erosion issues, and more specifically, the resource protection area and resource management area of the Chesapeake Bay Act. So we are getting our GIS digitized for us to finally have a Cape Charles specific GIS layer for us. And with that will come the layers relative to the Chesapeake Bay Act. So we are working with the county's vendor who does their GIS Civic Guard in that effort. So I think that covers the major stuff. If anybody has particular questions about any component of this, I will do my best to recall it and explain it as best I can, but I will leave it for the public hearing this evening.
One person is signed up, Angela Galloway.
How you doing today?
Hi.
How you doing?
All right. I have two requests. The initial request is street name change proposal. My name is
We're gonna close the public hearing, then we'll go.
Public
into-
comments come after.
Oh, okay.
This is for a particular.
No problems. There were two sheets. over
Just a
there.
different subject.
That's all right. All right, anybody want
You'll be ready when in just a few minutes.
to make a motion to close?
I'll make a motion that we close public hearing.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, public comments. 3 minutes per speaker for topics not subject to this evening's public hearing. A little late.
State your name and your address, please.
All right. My name is Angela Galloway. I live on 541 Madison Avenue. And I'm coming for you with a proposal is both simple and meaningful to our community. I'm requesting a consideration to rename a portion of Fig Street, specifically the dead-end section where Mr. Thomas Godwin resides. Possibly changing the name to maybe Godwin's Way. Mr. Godwin is one of the oldest citizens in Cape Charles, has construction business, a funeral parlor, and he also served on the Board of Supervisors during the 80s. This is not a request to rename the entire street, but only the limited sections, so as to minimize the disruption while still honoring an individual who has made a lasting impact. Mr. Thomas Godwin is a respected member of this community. His presence, contribution, and character have not gone unnoticed by those who know him. In small towns like ours, the people who quietly shape the community often deserve recognition, and this is one way we can acknowledge that. This proposal is also practical, because the section in question is the dead end. The impact on the residents, emergency service, and postal delivery will be minimal and manageable. The change will be limited in scope but meaningful in purpose. Beyond honoring Mr. Godwin, this effort reflects something larger. It shows that Cape Charles values its people. It tells the residents that the contributions matter, and this town takes pride in recognizing those who make it what it is. I understand that any change like this requires a careful consideration, including input from the affected residents and adherence to town procedures. I'm fully prepared to assist in that process, whether that includes gathering community support, coordinating with neighbors, or complying with any requirements that council may have. In closing, I respectfully ask that the council to consider this proposal not just a name change, but an opportunity to celebrate a member of this community in a lasting, visible way.
Hey, can you tell us Fig Street between what and what?
Fig Street and Monroe. As you're coming into town, so
Right.
the
Fletcher, too.
street goes to the right or left to go to Monroe.
Yeah, all right.
You can make it on the right, like going towards the old golf
So
course.
basically from Fig
To the dead end.
to, well, it's not dead.
Oh, the Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Yeah,
Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher.
That's all.
And it's- Yeah, it's not, from a house standpoint, it's either 3 or 4 houses on it, right there.
And Mr. Godwin's house faces Fig Street. So.
Yep,
Yeah,
Fletcher? Oh, excuse me.
yep. His
yeah,
garage faces
yeah,
Fig.
because his driveway.
So would you prefer Fletcher to be renamed or Fig, given where his house faces?
I'm assuming whichever that goes towards the dead end and has less
Fletcher.
less hiccup, less hiccup with the neighbors, what have you. So I'm assuming it's Fletcher.
Part of
excuse me.
Fletcher.
All right. And my second request. This is a no parking proposal on Nectarine Street. I'd like to bring your attention to the safety and accessibility concern on Nectarine Street alongside the church property, First Baptist Church. On Sundays, residents on that street regularly park. On Sundays, a resident on that street regularly parks a pickup truck and a boat trailer along the same side of the church. While this it may not be an issue during the week, it creates a significant problem during church services. Many of the church elderly members rely on closed parking access, including access to the handicap ramp. When the space is occupied, it limits safe and reasonable access to those individuals. This is not just an inconvenience, it directly impacts the mobility, safety, and ability for members of the community to attend services without hardship. To address this, I'm proposing the installation of 2 no parking signs along the portion of Nectarine Street, restricting parking on Sundays between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. This is a limited time specific solution that balances the needs of the residents with the needs of the church community. It does not impose a full-time restriction, only during the hours when it impacts the most significant. A similar approach is already in place on Strawberry Street near the Christian Academy, where the signage helps manage parking during school hours. That example shows that the town has already successfully implemented targeted parking solutions like the one I'm proposing. This request is about enforcing safe access, particularly for the elderly residents, and maintaining fairness to all members of the community. I respectfully ask the council to consider placing these signs as a reasonable, effective solution.
Would it be helpful to make them handicap spaces instead?
The sign over here at the Christian school, it just states no parking from a specific time. It has a handicap spot there, but it's still
Or at
At the church.
on Nectarine, excuse me.
Okay.
So it's a ramp there that it has one parking spot, for the handicap. But you know, you got some people that are elderly and still have to.
So making more handicap wouldn't be helpful?
Yeah, we are just petition
VDOT
VDOT
to do
to
it.
put it in temporary signs for the specific times
Sure,
during the church hours.
but if handicap is more helpful,
Well, handicap's that's permanent. That means all day long.
Yeah. So because like you said, so it won't bother the residents who's parking his trucks and his trailer on the side of the street. So yeah, that's a few hours. That's all.
okay.
All right. And that's it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If I may, just to revisit the street
Yeah,
request.
I have a question about
Mr.
that.
Godwin lives on the corner of Fig and Monroe, and
Yeah.
Monroe does have a dead end going,
To Fletcher.
right.
So it would
So
be
I think
this,
that's what you're talking about.
That's right.
If I could
Yeah.
just share the map with you really quick.
the stretch of
There's Mr.
Monroe
Godwin's
from
house,
Fig
there's
to
Fig,
Fulcher.
There's
Yeah.
Monroe, which dead ends there.
Yes.
So you're talking this section of Monroe,
Fulcher.
actually.
Yes, ma'am.
There it is. He's looking to rename that section of Monroe.
Yes.
Right, I
Right.
got you.
That's what I thought. I thought that Fletcher did.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for your time.
Hey, you have a great day.
Thank you.
Claudette Ledoy.
Good evening. Claudette LaJoy, 127 Peach Street, resident of Cape Charles. So I'm here as a resident, not as the Civic League. Make that clear. As a community, we continue to show up with our sweat equity. I don't think I really need to expand on what our community does in terms of volunteerism and just civic mindedness that we have in town throughout the year. We show up with our financial equity in this community also by maintaining our properties to a high standard, as well as donating to support our many nonprofit organizations that we have here in town. I think we as the community really are the small town character and charm that we base our strategic plan on. And we really are a viable part of the community in order to maintain that viable tourism component that we also need. People come here for our small town charm, and so our events, our people, our volunteers make that small town character happen. Through our personal investment, both financial, physical, and emotional, we really are the town's appeal, which fuels the economy. I ask, maybe more expect, might be a little bit harsher of a word, that you continue to review the budget and evaluate costs, that you clearly demonstrate how the town has done their part to complete a truly service level audit to see if the town's actually becoming more efficient, or are we just getting more expensive? As the morale of the town residents, over time has been challenged, having an additional burdened cost, taxes, unnecessary processes, and wasted efforts, that small town character based in volunteerism and community efforts which fuel our town economy could also potentially falter. And so I'm just asking, as you go through the budget and continue your work sessions, to truly remember the residents that live here, the property owners that live here, the businesses that are here, that anything that you institute is not going to have a negative effect on us as we're here all year. Thank you.
But are there specific things in the budget that you want to point out?
No, I think just, really looking before more staff is hired, really looking to make sure everything is running effectively. Times change. And so maybe workloads and priorities within departments might shift a little bit. That's normal for any organization. So just asking that you look at some of those things. Maybe, considering if there's a meal tax increase, who that's really going to affect all year. When winter gets slow, it's us full-time residents, we can only eat out so much as it is. And so adding another kind of tax on top of that would lessen the amount people may go out. And so just want to make sure property taxes, obviously, big one. But the reality that we are putting high dollar investments into our properties to continually maintain them, because people like to see all the pretty color houses and all the landscaping and all the work that gets done, because it makes it a cute, quaint, updated beach town. And so just as you're going through your process, line by line, I would just ask that you would consider making sure effective processes are in place. And, you know, it's never a bad idea to reevaluate components of programs to see if they're still what town needs to move forward. You can call anytime if you'd like more ideas. Thank you.
Thanks.
Members of Town Council and town staff and those who are with us here in person or online. My name is Mark Esri. I live at 117 Strawberry Street. Tonight I rise to speak to do 4 things: express gratitude, apologize, share information, and make a request. It's 4 things. To our Town Council, I express my gratitude for entrusting the Civic League with the responsibility of managing the Plant a Tree project. To the members of the Civic League Beautification Committee, I'm grateful to each of you for the many hours you have spent on this project. Our committee members are Monica Hollinger, Claudette LaJoy, Clayton Newman, Evan Ripley, Kim Saugus, and Ed Wells. To those who chose to participate in the project, thank you and my sincere apologies for the abrupt termination. We each have our reasons for appreciating trees, and a quick internet search finds lists of 6 to 22 reasons to believe that trees are important: reducing utility bills, helping to clean the air and water, provide homes for many different species of life, and the quality of life. A walk in a shaded pathway is known to reduce stress and anxiety. For the list of the 22 benefits, you can check www.treepeople.org for the 22 different ways we appreciate trees. When I was made aware that VDOT rejected our application to implement the Plant a Tree project, I was shocked, really shocked, and very, very, very disappointed. Still can't believe it. It appears from the text of the letter of denial that we are to never plant trees in the strip of land between our sidewalks and the street. It certainly appears that way in the wording, which means Mason Avenue comes into question, along with all the residents. They no longer have trees, no longer have the ability to have trees. The importance of our relationship with VDOT cannot be taken lightly. However, my request to council tonight is that you consider an appeal of this decision. 24 Virginia statutes 30-151-100 explains the appeal process. We have 30 days to appeal and to notify the division administrator of our reasons for the appeal. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Can I make a comment? Is it okay? I was like, since you guys are here, I don't know if you're going to stay till the very, very, very end, but I have already reached out to VDOT. I spoke to the regional director of the Eastern Shore. I have communicated all of that and our disappointment and how many hours that our people have put into this and our partnership and how devastating this is to us. I have resubmitted the trees and asked them to show us which ones are inappropriate because we did our research. We chose smaller type trees, and that is supposed to, I'm having another follow-up meeting and in order to try to bring some resolution to get more trees authorized. So that is in the works, and he agreed he would work with me. So I don't know how many we'll get, but he did remind us that it is their property, and they are not wanting to put any funds towards any future maintenance problems. So it is disappointing. We had no idea that this is their direction, but that they are willing to meet with me to discuss the map and look further. If there's other areas that are have more width where trees can go, then that's what we're going to do.
So would you say that we're in the 30-day window, or
Oh,
no,
yeah.
we're still discussing?
Absolutely. I mean, we got this letter yesterday or today, and I had conversations all
Monday.
April 13th.
So yes, today I had a conversation with multiple people today.
All right, because effectively, we're going to have to really make a statement that this is an appeal rather than just a discussion and time runs out and the game's over.
Do you have to put that in writing?
I'll find out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I asked him, can he
Yes.
talk to me before it's official?
Right,
meeting,
right,
so,
right.
yeah.
okay.
And then my question is, did you happen to share, if you didn't, it would be good to put it in the appeal, how much we invested in the removal of the trees?
Did they cut that?
Because
I did.
we're taking care of their maintenance for them.
I did.
Yeah,
I communicated all of that today.
okay.
We can convert the volunteer hours to $1 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I think that'd be good to have in the appeal.
That's a labor cost
Right.
for the sheriff added expense.
I think that's a great idea.
So I just wanna.
Let's keep on, let's keep it to this, because it can go
Yeah,
down.
one second, though. I just wanna make sure that we're in agreement. We do not want this appeals window to close on us. We want to appeal it, no matter how the discussions go, if necessary, that we get an appeal in before 30 days.
Sure.
Okay.
But thank you for beginning the conversations orally to get the ball rolling.
Any more, Libby?
Okay, no one else has signed up, but I do have 3 emails to read into the record. The first one is from Susan Berger, who's town council members, mayor, and town manager. I am writing to express my deep disappointment in VDOT's denial of the tree planting project proposed by the Beautification Committee of the Civic League. The blatant denial to endorse a project that improves our community because it adds maintenance is disheartening. Should they not build roads because it will require maintenance in the future? The town council and manager should devote some effort to better understand and work with VDOT to achieve improvements here. I ask that the town council appeal VDOT's decision. This next one is from Richard Berger. It says, Mayor, town council members, and town manager, I am asking tonight that our town leadership file a formal appeal with VDOT over their rejection of our proposal for town beautification through the tree planting project. A number of our residents, but particularly those associated with the Historic District Civic League, have put in countless hours talking with VDOT and town officials, selecting appropriate trees, scouting, planting locations, contacting Miss Utility to approve the sites, communicating with residents, lining up equipment and volunteers to help with the planting, all to be told no after 9 months of work on this project. The efforts of your constituents should be recognized and supported by town management, the mayor, and town council. That support should come in the form of a formal appeal of their decision from the town of Cape Charles to VDOT. Thank you. This next one has 3 parts. It's from Andrew Fulmer. It says, Dear members of council and Mr. Karoglian, I am writing to ensure that you are aware of a dangerous dog evidentiary hearing next week, April 23rd, resulting from a March 19th, 9:30 a.m. dog attack on the 300 block of Mason Avenue with critical implications for the safety of our residents and visitors. And I request that our town management and council send a letter to the Commonwealth's attorney in support of his efforts to have this dangerous animal removed from its current residence. He's included photographs, and it says that they are very graphic, more so than what you expect in a dog bite. This same 100-pound dog previously attacked an 11-year-old child near Central Park in 2025, sending him to the hospital. Thus, it was reported to the county health department and leaving him with a significant permanent scar. Under Virginia's one-bite rule, the next steps following this recent attack should be clear. However, a lack of coordination between the sheriff's office and animal control nearly allowed this case to slip through the cracks, and the appropriate application of state code is only happening due to intense follow-up by the victim's family. The victim and her daughter are both longtime members of my business team family, so I am not only a witness, but I'm also in daily communication with them. 2 additional instances of the dog biting a child relative of the owner were not reported, so the second reported attack is actually the 4th known biting incident, and the attached pictures clearly demonstrate the dog is escalating. Of particular concern with regard to the March 19 attack is that the dog was on a leash accompanied by its owner. I was present, literally a step away, and will be testifying at the hearing that the dog was unprovoked and gave no warning. There was no growling or barking or any noticeable trigger, such as a sudden noise or disturbance. The owner and I were standing still talking, and suddenly the victim began to scream as the dog bit her multiple times on her right hand and arm, biting off a piece of her arm. I have provided the name and address of the owner to the clerk, as well as the details about the hearing. I'm also available in the coming days to answer any questions about the painful disfigurement, trauma, and surgical medical ordeals the victim is facing. It is important to note that this dangerous animal lives steps from the town playground, and the soon-to-start concerts in the park take place in what is basically the dog's front yard. The county has filed misdemeanor charges against the owner given the previous reported attack, and any next attack would result in felony charges. Nevertheless, The owner refuses to exercise an increased level of caution as evidenced by the attached picture of the owner walking the dog without a muzzle on the 600 block of Randolph Avenue at 6:15 p.m. on April 6th, 2.5 weeks after the attack. Clearly, the owner has demonstrated an inability to control the dog sufficiently on leash and lack of commitment to use reasonable care to prevent a foreseen injury. In summary, it is incumbent on this council and town manager to recognize that this very large dog's dangerous record of escalating attacks, the opportunity inherent to its location, and the owner's inability and unwillingness to use reasonable care makes another such attack highly foreseeable, and therefore to strongly request that the court disallow the dog to remain in any such heavily populated area within our town. This was forwarded to our police chief, and this is his response. Say this.
Just so everybody knows, this 3 minutes is up, but go ahead and read
Okay.
it. That way, this can be
Okay.
fully heard by everybody.
And this is from Chief Pruitt. I said, this is a Northampton County case. The previous cases were not reported. Northampton Animal Control has done their job correctly. The animal control officer has issued a summons, and the outcome will be decided by the judge hearing the case. I am sure Sheriff Dowdy will let you know when the case will be heard. And the third email is from Sheriff Dowdy. It says, Rick, thank you for reaching out. The owner has a hearing in the General District Court for the dangerous dog charge on April 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m. The court will then make a ruling, and if it's determined to be a dangerous dog, the owners will have to comply with several requirements. Dangerous dog certificate, which has to be renewed annually, confined to a proper locked enclosure in a fenced-in yard, dangerous dog signs posted on the property, tattoo on inner thigh or electronically chipped, leashed and muzzled when off property, vaccinations kept current, and liability insurance of at least $100,000. If the court determines from the evidence that it's a vicious dog, it will order that it be euthanized. If there are others that have been bitten, that evidence can be presented and the court could consider that in its ruling. Please let me know if you have any questions. And he attached the ordinance.
Thank you. All right, on to the next. We got recognition of visitors, presentations, or, so the Eastern Shore Rail Trails update, Mr. Ron Wood, Executive Director. I had to throw that mister in there.
Use the term lightly. Good evening, members of the Town Council, Mr. Vice Mayor, members, Mr. Town Manager, and those present tonight. My name is Ron Wolf. I'm the Executive Director of the Eastern Shore Rail Trail, and I'd like to give you an update on our very good progress that we've made on this first section of the rail trail from Rayfield's Pharmacy here in town all the way out to Sunnyside Drive in Sheridan. So that's about 4.5 miles, and very happy to say that the last bit of the asphalt was laid last Friday all the way into Sheridan. So if you remember, we had a groundbreaking in May of last year, so less than a year we have all the asphalt down. We know that the asphalt is very inviting, it's very tempting, it looks so good that people want to get out and try their hand, either their feet, their pedals, or their golf carts. And from what I do understand, there was also a horse and buggy on the trail over the weekend. So with that being said, and Ms. Holloway contacted me over the weekend with our first golf cart. So we've taken some prohibitive action on our part, along with Branscombe, the construction company, to try to do what we can. We know we're not going to stop people from getting on the trail, but what we've done is we've put up a ton of signage. In talking with Branscombe, I believe it was either Monday or Tuesday of this week, when I was down here putting signs up, is there anything else that they can do? Technically, the trail belongs to the construction company until construction is completed. So it is their obligation to ensure that, the trail is safe. And, the biggest thing that we want to prevent is any type of, casualty, somebody getting hurt. The liability falls on the construction company again until they turn it back over to the Rail Trail Foundation. So I spoke with Bill Miller from Branscombe, told him what the situation was, golf carts, people using the trail. He said, we will do the best we can to try to prevent that from happening. And in talking to Rick yesterday, I said, I can do a slide presentation. Everybody has seen it if you're riding into town. So yesterday they put up the orange flexible fence at every crossing and the trailhead, along with metal signs, road under construction, do not enter, violators will be prosecuted. So they've stepped up, they've done their part. Again, we know that you can go 10 yards down the trail and just hop on and go around all those barriers and signs. But, the public now is informed of that this is still a construction site, and we are very confident that it is going to be completed very, very soon. We had a meeting here last Thursday with VDOT, and one of my questions to them was, when are we going to see a completion date? They are so far ahead of schedule. The actual completion date by contract is October of this year. So they're well ahead of schedule. Can you give us a date? Well, nobody wanted to put their neck on the line, but one of the VDOT guys, he kind of stretched it out a bit, and he said, don't hold me to it, but it could be complete by Memorial Day, which is huge.
It's amazing.
And, the timing would be perfect, for the beginning of the tourist season. And as we all know, within the town, last year tourism, over 300,000 folks came into town, and probably is going to go up this year, we hope. So if Memorial Day would be the day that we could have a ribbon cutting, that would be fantastic. I was contacted by a resident in town, Mr. McKnight, who's an avid bike rider, ridden many trails, and, the same questions. When is it going to be open? When can I get on there? I can't wait. But the other thing that he informed me of is that one of his very, very good friends, a gentleman by the name of Paul Harnett. If you don't know the gentleman's name, he actually wrote the book, Rails to Trails, and did the documentary that was on PBS this past January. If you haven't seen it, it's a great documentary, a lot of good information. I'm sure you can pull it up. I know it's on YouTube. But Mr. McKnight said, maybe we can get Paul here for the ribbon cutting. So I contacted Paul, and he is all about it.
Oh, that's
He
awesome.
said, I'd be honored to be here. He said, I don't want to be paid for coming. He said, the only thing I ask is you get me a hotel room for my wife and myself for 2 nights, and I'll be here and help you out. So
Did he
hopefully,
specify which hotel?
he did not. He did not. But Tammy, there's a plug for you.
Exactly. There might be a place for him, right?
Yes. So, again, that would be huge. Mr. Harnett has ridden over 200 trails in the
amazing.
country. He is the expert. And it was really gratifying just to speak with him. He just seems like a really, really nice guy. So as far as update, where are we? We're to Chariton. What's next? So the next section of trail is from Chariton to Bird's Nest. Again, that's a smart scale project, which means VDOT administers that project. It is totally funded. It's about $18 million. And again, you know, the funding for this, it just boggles your mind that, you know, a mile of 10-foot wide asphalt can cost over $1.5 million, and it's going up. Just unbelievable.
Have they awarded that contract?
That section has not gone out to bid yet. That was another question that I asked here last week. If we're this far ahead of schedule on this portion, does that mean that the next portion goes out to bid earlier? And there are some time constraints, but, and I heard, you know, some of the questions that you have with VDOT, particularly about trees. You know, we've dealt with VDOT for several years now in the planning stage, and now that we're on to construction. And to be perfectly honest, almost every time we asked VDOT a question, the answer was no. No, no, no. Up until about 8 or 10 months ago. I don't know who put what in their Kool-Aid, but all of a sudden the answer was yes. How can we help you? How can we make this project move forward? How can we expedite it? So you got to be persistent, folks, with VDOT. It pays off. Matter of fact, this fall, I was asked to speak at VDOT's division-wide conference. It was held in Norfolk, and the Eastern Shore Rail Trail was the featured trail for the entire Commonwealth. So they are paying attention. You know, the theme of my speech was, no is not acceptable. How do we get to yes? And persistent pays off. You got to really, you know, make your case to them, and, you know, no's not acceptable. Let's get to yes. So the next section, Sheridan to Bird's Nest. The section after that is our longest piece. This is a federal piece from Bird's Nest to Melfa. That one is about 18 miles, $23.5 million. We were so happy the 1st of February to get word from the Federal Highway Administration that that grant now has been awarded. We were actually told that we received the grant about 2 years ago, but they didn't release the funding, and we thought it was going to be clawed back. We were very, very nervous. I had almost given up on it, but thankfully the wheels worked, and the funding is now in place. So what that meant was they released about $5 million of that 23.5 right away to do the preliminary engineering work. We have, the clock was ticking from the time we were awarded the grant almost 2 years ago. So we have like 6 months left to get all this engineering and preliminary work done. We have been under the gun, but it looks very good that all that will be completed within the time frame, and then the remainder of the funds will be released. So with that, the next section from Melfa to Only, again, goes back to a VDOT Smart Scale grant that we were awarded. So that gets us about 3/4 of the trail, the 50-mile trail, funded to the tune of about $58 million, which is huge. And, you know, putting all the parts together, there has been no local money used for construction. All of the construction funding has either been federal or state funds. The only local money, early on when all this was started about 2.5 years ago, I went to each of the boards of supervisors and asked for some startup money. And both counties put up $50,000. That's the only local money to date that has been used. So, that's a really good thing. And, when you talk about these large amounts of money, and you all know I sat where you all sit, and money is very important, and you make some very, very hard decisions. But in the community, people see that large number and they go, what the heck? You're spending all this money on a trail when we need, community centers. We need schools. We need this, we need that. And if I could answer every one of them, I would tell them the same thing that I'm going to tell you. That money could only be used for rail trail projects. I hate to say the word earmark, but it is an earmark. And the big thing about that is, if we don't apply for it, somebody else is, and where would you rather have that money come? Here to the Eastern Shore, or, east somewhere? So, we did a lot of work to get that funding. Again, I'll tell anybody the same thing. It just couldn't be used for anything else. So one thing I will say about Cape Charles, from the very beginning, you all have stepped up to the plate. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. You've signed an MOU with the Rail Trail Foundation and the town that you will maintain the portion of the rail trail, not only within the town limits, but all the way out to Route 13. That is huge. And again, we really, really thank you. I've talked to every incorporated town that the trail goes through. There are about 11 or 12, maybe 15 of them in both counties. And, I've used Cape Charles. I said, you guys are the glaring example. And, I'm honest, I'm realistic. I know that small towns just cannot do what you all did. And, it might be selfish on your part with over 300,000 tourists coming in every year. You want the trail to be pristine, just like we do. But we know that these other towns up and down the shore, one, they don't have the manpower, they don't have a public works department like you do, and, the money, it's difficult. So the maintenance is going to fall on the Rail Trail Foundation. So we will maintain it. We'll do whatever we can to make sure that it's as pristine as this section here in Cape Charles. We applied for another Smart Scale grant application that'll go from Only to Greenbush. That's about halfway to Parksley. So we submitted that pre-application about 2 weeks ago. We hope that, again, we get that grant award. If that gets us to Greenbush, we only have probably less than 10 miles to complete the 50-mile trail all the way to Hallwood. And a lot of people ask, why Hallwood? We still operate a railroad. It comes in from Maryland to Hallwood, and the only reason Hallwood is because one of our two customers, but one of our larger customers, NASA Wallops, they bring rocket parts in by rail. They're offloaded at Hallwood onto trucks and then trucked about 4 miles to either the main base or to Wallops Island. So we still are in the railroad business, and that's why Hallwood was our final destination. The only thing that questions that I have for the town, and maybe for you, Katie, where we are so close to completion, we're now looking at the amenities that we want to put on the trail. So kiosk with the rules of the trail, the map of the trail, and maybe the other side for Cape Charles businesses or whatever to put, on the kiosk. The really neat thing about the kiosk, in talking with George Mapp, the chairman of the foundation, we were discussing it, how are we going to do this? We looked online, you can buy kits, assemble the kiosk, and then put it up. I said, well, maybe we can get a local contractor to donate some time. Maybe we can get OBS to donate materials. And then it just hit me. Both counties, the school system, have VOTEC centers. Why not call the VOTEC people and see if it could be a class project to construct the kiosk for us? So the first person we called was Billy Davis here at Northampton High School. Told him what we wanted to do. Hell yeah, we'll do it. So when I was down here the other day putting signs up, my other stop was at OBS. I gave them all of our credit card information so Billy can just go in and purchase materials. Some things were delivered that we purchased 2 days ago, and hopefully we'll have the kiosk complete, before the end of the school year. The question that we have, and as I say, it might be to you, Katie, do we need to get permits to put the kiosk up on our property of the rail trail? So that's one thing that we need to find out. We want to be compliant. We don't want to do anything that's not kosher. So we want to find the answer to that question. The other thing that I think is really cool is that Gordon Campbell from Altitude contacted us, and what he wants to do is to start a bike share program where there'll be a bike rack at the trailhead, and people can access a bike with an app on their phone to unlock a bike, go on the trail. He will fully fund it. It won't cost the foundation anything. But again, if a bike rack, and I think he said he needs a concrete pad for that. Again, do we need to have permits or anything like that? It will be again on rail trail property. So we just,
But is he
again,
doing that for profit? Is that?
yes,
Yeah. So I think we've got to be a little cautious of that as far as
yes.
one
Well,
business
we just
over
want to
another.
know about the permitting.
Right. So I would definitely not let him know that he can move
Oh,
forward
yeah,
on
no,
that,
we're,
yeah.
we're not going to do anything until we have some things to look at on our side.
Right. Because
as-
the
as do
liability
you.
of
Yes.
that just sends alarm bells in my head. I don't know
Well,
about anyone
and
else, but-
again, he told us that, and he met
Yeah.
with our board, insurance, liability, he
Sure.
would cover all of that. So
Yeah.
again, just something to think about, but from our standpoint, we just need to know about the permitting.
Sure.
Um,
But bike racks, that's important. I have a couple of questions like
Yes.
that, if I might. I think that you and I had a conversation about landscaping and how that's going to happen, but I just can't remember what the answer was.
So part of VDOT's contract with Branscombe is that, and that's going to be the next phase of this section
Right.
of trail, is that they're going to come in with topsoil and then seed on either side of the asphalt.
Right.
So that part of landscaping is covered. As far as other landscaping, we've been contacted by a professor at ODU who does landscaping. She would love to help us along with students to provide local plantings that could be used on the trail. We have already, through the ANPDC, received a forestry grant for $90,000 from the Virginia State Forestry Department for trees to be planted along the trail. I know the town wants trees. Yep, I know the town wants trees,
So,
but,
along the whole trail?
Well-
Or part, like what part does that 90,000 cover?
So it wouldn't cover the whole trail.
Right,
We did a test planning at Bird's Nest by the convenience center. Those trees all took hold. We did it, it was cold that day.
Good sign inspector
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, it won't cover, that 90 won't cover the entire
Right.
corridor, but we're open to other applications. So, you know, once that one is complete, we can apply again. You know, a lot of the trail already does have, you know, that tree barrier either on the highway side or on the predominantly farm side of the trail. There are areas that are just bare, so that's where we would focus, you know, the trees to begin with. I
And
hope
what
that,
about,
hope that answers your question.
Trash cans?
Trash cans, yes. So that's another thing that, you know, one of the amenities that, you know, the foundation is looking at. I'm also the chairman of the Solid Waste Committee in Accomack County, and the Waste Watchers there had, I don't know, a dozen or 2 dozen trash receptacles that could be either used for trash itself or recyclables that they were going to get rid of. And I said, oh, I'll take those. So I've got them in my boat shed. They're ready to be put out. What we're going to need is some kind of permanent
Right.
container,
Yeah,
you know, that the can
because
itself.
of wind and all of
Yes,
those things, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then how about benches?
Benches are going to be another amenity that we're looking at. Specifically, we want to see something that's going to be low on maintenance,
Sure.
whether it's that Trek kind of planks.
Can we share with you what we've been using through town,
Oh,
which are,
yes, that would be great.
that cover all of those things?
Yes. Matter of fact, Mr. Mapp and I were talking today. We had a working group meeting. You know, whether VCR has, or I'm sorry, DCR has any kind of list of things that they use, or whether there's a state contract that we might be able to partner
Tap
with.
into.
Yes.
I'll send you that information
Okay,
because
that'd be great.
I'm sure the state probably has something.
Right.
And then the last thing is those little repair centers.
Yes.
You know, like,
Little bike
Air and
station,
stuff, yeah.
yeah, air wrenches, yeah,
Okay.
we're looking at those also.
okay. There are quite a few grants that tap into things like trash cans, those repair centers and things like that out
Right.
there too,
Yep.
to cover some of that.
Um,
Thank you.
I guess the only question I would have is, are you putting bollards at intersections to kind of prevent?
That's a very good question, and it's one that we've gone back and forth with over and over with VDOT, with the State Trail Office. We'd like to do bollards, but how effective are they really? Right, you know, like I said, you go 10 feet down the trail and there's nothing there, you just hop on. So we're still in flux on that. And, you know, some of the bollards that you see, you know, are collapsible. You know, so if somebody does run into them, it's not going to knock them over and knock them off their bike or whatever. The other thing is for maintenance or for EMS or for law enforcement. You know, are they going to go the 10 feet down and hop on the trail? We've seen some of the collapsible bollards on the Southern Tip Trail, and they're locked, so somebody has to go out and actually unlock them to drop them down. Yeah, you know, and that could be a big issue, particularly if it comes to law enforcement or EMS.
If it all goes on the side, you can get around it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could have a combination kind of thing. So we're still debating how we're going to deal with that. But talking about EMS and law enforcement, the other thing that I was able to do was contact the county attorneys in both counties. to see if they could come up with an ordinance that would work for both counties, particularly because the trail is private property. So they put their heads together, we met several times, and they have a draft ordinance. The most important thing of that is, again, where this is private trail, private property, how can law enforcement go on private property to enforce trail rules? So again, our friends at VDOT, this is where they came in. Their designation of this trail is that it is a multimodal transportation network. Therefore, this ordinance would allow both sheriff's departments to enforce the rules of the trail just as they would enforce any other rules on any other roadway in both counties. So what does this ordinance entail? One, it entails the prohibitive measure to ensure that there are no motorized vehicles on the trail. ATVs, motorcycles, golf carts, e-bikes, class 1 and 2 are allowed, class 3 will not be allowed. Electric scooters and electric skateboards are prohibited, and most of this is by state ordinance. So what they were able to do was pull state ordinance to incorporate it into this by-county ordinance.
So the one-wheel too is part of the skateboard. So they call it a one-wheel.
Okay, yeah,
Electric motor.
yeah,
It's basically
yeah.
a skateboard.
right.
That's gonna take off some people.
So the other thing, the ordinance will allow for EMS, maintenance vehicles, whether they be from the foundation or in your case, from Cape Charles, to access the trail.
But
So-
motorized handicap wheelchairs are allowed.
Are allowed,
Right,
yes.
yes.
Yes,
Can I ask you,
yes.
just to follow up on what Ken said? I mean, but that was what I was going to ask you. I know things are being done during the construction phase to kind of prevent people from using the trail, but I've always seen bollards on these trails. Like I was
Yeah.
just on the Spanish Moss Trail in Beaufort, and like at every crossing there was one. And while that may not be part of your plan, and whether it's you or us that does it, I think that because of our prevalent golf cart culture here, that yes, you can go around,
Yeah.
obviously, in any of these situations.
But it gives you a
But it gives you,
pause.
like, you know, what we constantly hear in town when people break rules is, well, I had no
Didn't
idea.
know, yeah.
Except for that
And-
sentence in the-
So, you know, everything that we can be doing, at least on our end of the trail, to make it as clear as we can as a town, to say, hey, this is a no-go. The signs will help. Like these signs, are you saying the signs, these are the signs you're talking about, right?
Yes.
So are these already up or going up, or?
They're in the process of being made.
And will those be at every crossing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How big are they?
I talked with Rick the other day when we ordered the signs. So right now we're mainly concentrating on Cape Charles because we know that's where the issue of the golf carts is going to be most prevalent. So we've got about 10 that we're going to put up at all of the crossings and at the trailhead. And we asked Rick if, Public Works could help us get those 4x4 posts in the ground. So I think we're going to be able to do that.
Gotcha.
As soon as we have the signs.
And the ordinance you were just discussing?
Yes.
Is that expected to be in place by the time it opens?
Yes. So we held off, based on the recommendation of both county attorneys, until the counties had passed their budget. The budget process, as you all know, is lengthy and takes up a lot of time. And we didn't want to deal with that with the boards of supervisors. So now both counties have passed their budgets. So I think we're going to tee up the ordinance at the May meeting for both counties.
So will we need, like, I think this is what Katie was just asking, do we need our own? I mean, like, when Officer Diaz grabs the first cart on the, in between the brewery and Brayfields.
Right.
Is that enforceable from a town
I
standpoint?
think
or-
it is, because, we certainly asked that question of the attorneys. Would, any of the incorporated towns that have police departments, would they be able to enforce those same rules? Their answer was yes. So I had hoped that Ellen Bauer, the Northampton County Attorney, could have been here tonight. I did invite her. She had, some type of other obligation, but she is more than happy to come in front of you and, answer those types of questions. But I think the short answer is yes.
And we can have our town attorney review it.
Yep.
And just to add any additional language that would feel, that we would be comfortable with.
And our seal at the top.
One other question, Ron.
Yes.
One of the areas of concern safety-wise for me, because I go back and forth to storage quite a bit, is that when you cross over on Parsons Circle there's no really, car traffic is used to just going through that. Is there anything going to be on the trail that people to yield or stop or something?
There'll be stop signs?
Okay, same thing on
Yeah.
Casat?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Southern Trail has it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, I
The,
just.
the other thing that, we've looked at, God knows how many trails all around the country.
Yeah.
You always find something that, is kind of neat that we would like to incorporate into ours.
Sure.
One of the things that we saw, rather than, a typical road sign on the trail at a crossing, was the actual painted, stenciled name of the road on the trail itself at the crossing. And one, it would be easier for a bike rider to see that than have to be looking up at an actual road sign. The other thing, we've talked with EMS and the Sheriff's Department and the 911 Center. There's so many things that come up when you start this that you don't even think about, but mile markers.
Yes.
So, one of the things, and when you start looking at mile markers, you can go crazy with it. Do you start at 0 and go, up to 50? One thing I didn't know about Route 13, if you look at mile markers on Route 13, 0 actually starts at the North Carolina border because Route 13 is a federal highway. So it starts 0 there and continues all the way up in through Delaware. So, you get on 13 here and you see mile marker 116, 120. How is that going to correlate with the trail? So in talking with VDOT and talking with the EMS folks and 911, we're going to do two things. We're going to correlate those Route 13 mile markers, but then we're also going to start our 0 mile marker here in Cape Charles and go out. So you'll actually see 2 mile marker placards on the sign. One for EMS, they're just used to those Route 13 mile markers. So when they're dispatched, it's mile marker 113 between Treehernville and Selvin Scene. So it'll give them the access points of the crossroads, but also give them the mile marker.
Right.
So I think that'll cover us from all aspects.
Can we get our own bumper stickers that say mile marker 0?
Talk to the man. I think I've covered everything. I know there's probably something. When I was here on Tuesday, I did stop at the Route 13 intersection. The guys were working on the push-button signals. So I talked to them for a right good while. They said that should be complete by next week. Our big concern, and I'm sure yours and everybody else's, is how we're going to move these people across Route 13.
Right.
So I asked the question, I said, you know, when you push the button, how long, what's the time frame that you have to get across? So those guys gave me an answer. They said it's all based on the green light north and south on Route 13. So I said, can that be adjusted? Can, you know, you manipulate how long that time frame is? He said, yes. And man, I was like, oh, that's great. So my thinking is, well, during the summer, maybe, when it's really busy and people are, you know, trying to get across, we can make it a little longer. During the winter, when there's not as much traffic, we can shorten the time. So during the work session today, talking with our good friends at VDOT, I asked the same question. I said, can you guys tinker with that and make it longer and short? No. We were back to no. But then he kind of backed off. He said, well, maybe we can, maybe it can be tweaked. And he gave me, there's actually a formula that they use to set that timing. So a person, you know, a normal gait of walking is like 3.5 minutes a mile. So they take that with the distance to cross, and that's how they come up with the timing. They divide that distance by 3.5. That's what they come up with.
30
So, 30 minutes. So
3 minutes?
yeah.
The world's
Very fast.
I taught history, not math. You know, so we might be able to play with that a little bit to extend it. So that would be good.
Stuck in the light, trying to keep
Well, and the other thing we'll have is people in wheelchairs going
Yes.
across there.
Yes. Yep. So, in finality, we, the foundation, really thank you for all that you're doing and the partnership that we're creating. It's important. It really is. You know, you guys are going to be the first section. You know, your town being the tourist attraction destination that it is so important to what we're doing. And we really can't thank you enough for stepping up and being the partner that you've been so far. And we know it's going to continue. So thank you. And again, I'll answer any other questions.
One quick one. So when Officer Diaz stops a golf cart on the path, I know, sorry, I wouldn't do that.
Putting you to work.
And we write a ticket, where does the money go? So if we're writing the ticket, it comes to us.
Yeah.
Got to get them before they get too far.
You got the Casella Parkway.
That's right.
And I mentioned to Katie earlier, you know, this golf cart issue has probably taken more discussion
It does.
time
Oh
than
my-
probably
I know.
anything
Yes.
else that we've ever done.
Talking about
And,
4 years.
you know, my idea, with all the great technology that we have today, there ought to be somebody who could come up with a strip that you just lay across the trailhead or at the crossings, and when a golf cart goes over it, it zaps their battery power and renders them useless. There you go, we're done.
That kind of exists. that technology.
Yeah.
Grocery store parks.
Yes, exactly. Ron, thank you so much for
Oh,
your
no,
tireless
thank you.
work for so long.
Thank you, I appreciate the time. I know your time is very
Your
important.
efforts have been amazing, and I'm sure you smile beyond smiles when you drive past.
I can tell you the first day when I came down here, it was cold and windy, but it was the first day that they started putting millings out over the rail bed. And I clicked pictures and tears were literally coming
Yeah.
down my, you know, for 2.5 years, you're sitting there just doing paperwork, and then all of a sudden, you know, something really happens that you can see that's positive, and it was great.
Thank you.
But thank you all very much, and contact me anytime. Rick, you know how to get up with me. Andy, Tammy,
You know I can.
really, just contact me anytime.
Thank you.
I do. Thank you very,
Thank you.
very much.
Last time you were at a podium, you gave your wife flowers. Is she on her own
I
tonight?
know.
And I'm taking her to
Dinner. I was
There
gonna
you
say,
go.
maybe she's gonna get a dinner out of this.
$1.
How big is that hat?
Again, thank you all very much.
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
do.
We appreciate it.
All right, now on to some proclamations.
Oh, your favorite things, you get to read all
No,
of those
I'm,
tonight.
I'm gonna do this National Building Safety Month. Liddy, would you please read that one?
Ah, good Vice
Thank you
Mayor.
all again.
Bye-bye, thank you, enjoy your dinner.
Yeah.
You deserve it too.
Alrighty, the Building Safety Month proclamation number 20260416A, Building Safety Month, May 2026. Whereas the town of Cape Charles is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together local, state, territorial, tribal, and federal officials who are experts in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. And whereas these modern building codes and standards include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us of safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Built to Last, the theme for Building Safety Month 2026, encourages us all to get involved and raise awareness about building safety on a personal, local, and global scale. And whereas each year, in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local, state, tribal, territorial, and federal building safety and fire prevention departments in protecting lives and property. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Cape Charles Town Council hereby proclaims the month of May 2026 as Building Safety Month, adopted by the Town Council of Cape Charles on the 16th day of April 2026.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the proclamation as just read.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
All right, National Police Week. Thank you, Libby.
Town of Cape Charles Proclamation Number 2026-0416B to recognize National Peace Officers Memorial Day and National Police Week 2026. To recognize National Police Week 2026 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Cape Charles Police Department. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, 24,775 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And whereas 363 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 109 officers killed in 2025 and 254 officers killed in previous years. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 38th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2026. And whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 11th through 16th. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Cape Charles Town Council formally designates May 15th, 2026 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. And be it further proclaimed that Cape Charles Town Council will observe May 10th through 16th, 2026 as National Police Week in the town of Cape Charles and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation. Adopted by the Town Council of Cape Charles on the 16th day of April 2026.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the proclamation as read.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we have one more, National Public Works Week proclamation. It's like we just read this. It's so funny how the years just fly by.
Okay, Proclamation 2026-0416C, National Public Works Week, May 17th through 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered in community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the town of Cape Charles. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the town of Cape Charles to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now be it resolved that the Cape Charles Town Council does hereby designate the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week and urges all citizens to join the representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies to pay tribute to our public works professionals and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. Adopted by the Town Council of Cape Charles on the 16th day of April, 2026.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the proclamation as read.
Second.
What do you think, Paul?
All in favor?
Aye.
You did great.
Thank you.
He's
Just gotta get my
practicing to take
practice in.
over. That's right.
You running again?
No, so he's got to fill in for him.
That's right.
All right, recognition of employees with significant anniversaries. This is a good one. So, I'm gonna start off with, I'm gonna go from the newer to the older. So, in certificate of appreciation, this certificate is awarded to Katie Nunez for a recognition of 5 years of service to the Municipal Corporation of Cape Charles from February 9th, 2021 to February 9th, 2026. Snapping photos or no?
We want to see
on
it hung in
Facebook.
your office.
Probably doesn't seem anywhere near 5 years.
All right,
It's like in dog years.
blink your eyes. Okay, I got a certificate of appreciation. This certificate is awarded to Tracy Outen, a recognition for 10 years of service to the Municipal Corporation of Cape Charles. From April 4th, 2016 to April 4th, 2026.
Wow,
10 years.
that's awesome.
Would you like to give that to
Had a gold watch.
your right-hand person?
Big time.
All right, now on to another one. All right, certificate of appreciation. This certificate is awarded to Connie Drummond in recognition for 10 years of service to the Municipal Corporation of Cape Charles from January 6, 2016 to January 6, 2026. And now the Grand Poobah. We got a certificate of appreciation. This certificate is awarded to Jed Brady in recognition for 20 years of service to the Municipal Corporation of Cape Charles from December 20th, 2005 to December 20th, 2025. Hey, there's a nice little gift card.
Good.
That's a big one. Gift card today.
everybody in planning, zoning, and building all started at the same time.
We're all doing the same
Different years, but
Okay, now we're on
Yeah.
the consent agenda. For A, approval of agenda format, I know there's a change here, so,
So I just asked that we take off the beachfront master plan and it will be re-added on the May 7th agenda.
and it just wasn't ready in time.
Correct.
Okay. So can I get a motion?
I move that we remove item A under unfinished business.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approval of minutes?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the meeting minutes and the financial report for February.
All right. Second?
Second.
All right. Unfinished business. All right, we're gonna go right into the 2026 Community Strategic Plan. Rick.
Yeah, so you've had now a couple weeks to review it, and what I gave you is all of our amendments for your review. This was from our strategic planning retreat that we had, and then the very last one is the Appendix B, which is the priorities. And so there's 15, I believe there's 15, I'm not looking at it. I kind of, on the staff report, I put them in order of what I think that would be important. However, the first 5 to me are the ones that we're really concentrating on, and then after 5 would be as we have time and funds to kind of move forward. So I'm totally open to how you guys would suggest moving them up and down. Thoughts, comments?
One comment I had was on the sidewalk infill. To me, that should be listed on ongoing. We fund each year, and it's something that we should be taking credit for.
Do we have a printed version of this or no? It's just what's on online. Is that right?
The comp plan is in the packet.
Where?
But no, it's,
No, just online. Okay.
The Dropbox.
I am just on the town's website. Is it there?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because I clearly have some issues with the others. I'm just trying to work independently. Yes, I got it. Okay. I have, because I knew you'd be busy and couldn't help me.
So
Okay.
I'd ask Rick, which version are you looking at? You have the staff report 1 through 15, but then you have the community strategic plan that's broken up, ongoing versus other.
Yeah, the one that it's in the section under section B, item B, is what I wanted you to review. I think there's two, I think Libby added one, and then I put the one that I've already kind of made the corrections. So under section B, item B
Of the agenda.
of the agenda.
So it's the actual, the strategic plan draft, the
Yeah.
last page, appendix B,
Yeah, page 93. That helps, thanks.
13.
Well, it's
Oh, I see.
page 93 of the packet.
Yeah, of the packet, page 93, correct, yeah.
And there's 13 of them? Am I looking at the right thing?
Well, on the, I'll tell you the page that I made your recommendation. Page 80 is where I gave you
That's
15 of them.
No.
One has 15 priorities and the other has 13.
The
Or
15.
12. So you.
On page 80 is the 15.
So which one do you want us to work off of? The one with the 15 items?
Page 80.
Okay, that's
I'm looking at it differently. I'm looking at them as each attachment separately.
It's the report, the
The
manager's
report,
report.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so when you say some are, you have prioritized in your mind where they are, but, you know, some of this stuff, like, I hate to say the strategic plan, breaking it up into what's ongoing should continue ongoing,
Correct.
right? So you got the municipal center, you got the restrooms, you got work with developers on the workforce housing, which continue in the beachfront's master plan. So those are
Ongoing.
Going. But I'm saying develop sidewalk infill program should be listed up there because
We're
knocking
doing
off pieces as we're going.
Right.
And that's a continuum.
So that needs to be moved up.
And I'm not sure even the Mason Avenue and
Yes.
Strawberry
I
Street
was gonna say
electrical
that.
upgrade should be moving up
Yeah.
because we're working on that as well.
Exactly. It says move up.
And so is
Well,
that
that's what I
you
wanna
need?
say,
Is
if
you
that's the
need to move
case.
it into the ongoing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's probably halfway done. That'll get off the list pretty quick, actually.
And let's just talk about, if that's the case, moving up to ongoing for those two items. When we have developed the Harbor Railroad Area Master Plan, that's ongoing too, but I'd ask, to what point is this particular item, what is it truncated? When we get the plan developed, or even beyond that into grants and,
Berkeley.
actually construction in some fashion. Because right now, to me, that developed Harbor Railroad Conceptual Master Plan is ongoing too. So that should move up.
And that alone, that list of should move up, I don't see how you can do too much more than that stuff.
Well, I'd ask for the Accomack PUD. That's ongoing too,
For 2 years.
right? So that is a continuing project.
Where, what number is that?
That's,
9,
9.
Oh, I see.
Katie's been working on that for what, 2 years? On and
Been
off?
on the list. You know, to really focus and work on it is a whole different question.
Yeah. Well, have you been working on it? Yeah or no?
On and off. I've been-
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Strategic plan.
That's what I mean. And I think that's what
we're
Paul's
working
getting
on
to
from
too.
here.
'Cause it's-
That's what I'm working off of.
That's what he's working
Yeah. But no-
on. They're up.
nobody else is.
which document are, because we're all looking at different things.
Yeah.
We are all looking.
Rick's on the list from his report. 15 items
Okay.
on
gotcha.
page
Yes.
80.
Right.
Except that the report one doesn't
Prioritize.
into
Right.
what we are
No,
already.
I just listed 15 for us to then move them around.
So then why don't we just all work from the list of 15, start there? Does that work? And just, right, we can already start to say some of these can move into the already developed,
right.
So number 1, the harbor is an ongoing right now, so we can move into that. The municipal center is ongoing, it can move into that. The workforce housing is, I feel like that is an ongoing.
Yeah.
That can move into that. The bathrooms can move
Yes.
into that. The beachfront master plan
Right.
can move into that. So the top 5 there are already in an ongoing status.
Yes.
8 and 9 would go up with that.
Yes.
Correct. Which is the sidewalks.
Yeah, but
and
those-
electrical upgrade.
Those would be at the bottom of the ongoing list. Just.
No, why do you say that? Because.
Don't, on the ongoing, so like the active, Katie's working on it on and off. It's still in the ongoing, but it's still gonna be
Which item are you talking?
8 and
number
9.
9.
9, okay.
9 would be still, it would be at the bottom of the ongoing priority list. She's only gonna work on it when she has time.
Well, this-
All right, we're talking different
Sorry, you
lists.
jumped,
again.
you jumped the list.
Going back
Different
and
lists.
forth.
We're back to page.
We're all now referring
So
to
if you
this.
just follow Rick's, it's 8 and 9 is the sidewalk, and 9 is electrical upgrade, 13 is the PUD.
It's this.
That's what Andy's talking
All
about.
right,
This
so,
one right here.
oh, that's your beginning of it.
Yeah.
All right, now I was looking at the second list of the, it's the first list, okay, got it.
So
And-
we're in agreement up to item 5, and we've agreed then that items 8 and 9 also move up to the ongoing,
Right.
and that item 13, which
Well-
is the PUD,
10 should also.
That's correct.
thank you, yes, 10 as well, and 13
And 13.
are all in ongoing. Okay, so now we really only have 6, which is the revenue agreement with the county, 7, which is the fire capital equipment needs.
Is that in process also?
Well, I'll mention that because I went to the Board of Supervisors meeting and they do not have money set aside for any strategic plan for the 5 fire stations.
Public safety, number one.
Well, let me back up. The county administrator said he will be working with the stations in order to pull needs together. So that's all I'm gonna offer relative to that item. So
that's
to
not-
develop a plan with, we can certainly participate in that regard, but it's not with a third-party consultant as I see it right now.
Correct.
And I know I wasn't here for this meeting. Can someone just give me a 2-sentence descriptor of item 12, which is create workforce stability and organizational capacity plan, what that was getting at? I think I know, but I want to confirm.
That's for me to assess our needs for staff retention and making sure we're hiring and keeping people at appropriate levels,
Okay.
capacity for departments and so forth.
Okay, so I'm going to toss out that on the list of priorities that we need to sort of focus on next as resources become available, item number 15 should be at the top or very near the top, which is improved communications and project coordination with VDOT.
I guess that's, to me, I was surprised to kind of see that on this list, because I think that that would just be
Matter of fact.
something that we have as part of your expectations as the town manager on a,
And that's ongoing right now.
right.
Right, but
Just-
it doesn't make it to this list.
Right.
It's something we want you to do, but it's not.
But it's not gonna be on this
the
list, that's what
Right.
I'm saying. I think, you know, when we look at evaluation next week, we add that in as an expectation for next year, you know what I mean? Like, we add that in at that point, I
So we
don't,
take it off.
that's my opinion, I don't know,
Yeah, you would still do it, but
yeah.
not this way.
Stuck it, ready.
I guess I would be okay with that, except that I think putting it on this list puts an asterisk that, you know, sort of puts a real, not an asterisk, just sort of a line in the sand in terms of what expectations are for us as a group, not only just to the staff, but to the
To the
community.
public, yeah.
And that's why I think it needs to be put in writing that this is something that we're focusing on.
Even our expectation that you would do that, I think, is a departure maybe from our approach over the last 5 or 10 years. So in that sense, it is a strategy, I guess, that we're trying to elevate that as one of your priorities.
Yes, and it's not a huge, you know, it's not something that's gonna require a ton of manpower or devotion of energies, but it still sort of sends the signal that we really are.
Was that even, just curious, was that even one of the questions on the survey? I don't remember that being in there.
No, that came out of
No,
our
it's
discussions.
just
on the-
many-
Yeah, so it's
just
not-
many
it's not
discussions
part of
that
the
we've had.
community discussion. I'm with the other, I'm with them, not being there, just being in Rick's day-to-day operations. It's not just VDOT, it's with the county, it's with, it could be other fire departments, whatever, or not other fire departments, but dealing with our own fire department, communication between them. Because that is not, they're not part of the government work. So it's almost the same thing. So, you know, it's just expectation of communication through all our.
I mean, I see what Tara's saying in that highlighting that the relationship with VDOT needs to rise to the level and which you're, you know, working on. I guess I don't see it as needing to be on our priority list, but if it has to be for us to pay attention to it, it's not gonna hurt. I just hate to see it as number 15. It just
I
seems
feel like
like,
it was flagged in comments.
Yes.
A number of people in their write-in comments referenced VDOT. I don't know what the number or the tally was on that, but we did have that categorized at that retreat. And I feel like that's what elevated it during those conversations.
But we took several other things that were in there and said, that's just your regular, everyday job.
Yeah.
And so we took them off a priority, a strategic plan priority. list,
right,
And just said, that's just your job.
yes.
But aren't some of these other priorities going to require a much more elevated relationship with VDOT over the next several years. And so looking at this as something foundational, you know, something
Like what? I
like the
mean,
beachfront master plan would require a pretty heavy lift and partnership with VDOT.
Main Street or Mason Avenue renovations or
Right.
whatever to the streetscape.
Right, all of these things.
So the relationship with VDOT would be part of those other things.
Those other things.
yeah.
Sure. Again, I feel pretty strongly that this needs to be something front and center that we're seeing to the community and internally at the council level. This isn't just new from today's discussion of trees. This VDOT relationship has been something that's been,
But we as council don't get involved with VDOT conversations.
I'm not suggesting that we should, but I do think we get involved with saying what a priority is for the council and the town management.
Yeah, but if we're not involved in a day-to-day with VDOT, that's really Rick's job to do. That's what everybody's basically saying.
Are we
So-
involved with the day-to-day of sidewalk and
No,
bill
we are
programs?
not, that's not our job.
I'm
No,
not
but-
suggesting it should be.
But we do approve those things, and we'll approve all these other kinds of things. So it's a different kind of activity. You know, most of these others, we oversee and then vote on and say, yes, this happens. But that one doesn't. See what I'm saying? When it comes to developing the harbor plan, the municipal center, creating the workforce housing piece, the restrooms, all of those things are things we are actively making a decision on.
With money.
But that one isn't.
Well, there's no final product with this one.
Right,
No.
that, and there's several on the list this year that don't have that, and I'm trying to think, that's why I'm kind of processing, is there another way in which that we divide this list into types of things, because it's, most of the things that we've had on this priority list in the past have been project-related
Well,
types of
well,
things.
Right now, it's all project
Right.
related, develop, create,
Yeah.
review.
Yeah,
This is the only one that kind of is hanging out there. I'm not saying it's not important, but I don't know when you would say, you know, declare victory, we're finished with it.
yeah, you know, yeah. It would be ongoing, for sure,
Yeah, that would be on the list
Forever.
forever.
yeah.
Unless they change their ways. But that's, I think Rick's made more headway than.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I see what Tara's saying too, that we want to make sure we're communicating that to the community, that that's important to us, but I also see what you're saying, that it's not a measurable
Yeah.
action item that we can say, we did it. We got that relationship, because all it takes is one staff turnover here or there to make the relationship go back to zero, so it
I
is
just
sort of an
wonder if we
ongoing-
might be able to, in the town manager's evaluation, make, these are some expectations that we have for the year ahead, and some of those things on this list, to me, scream that direction, because that is measurable.
Which would be.
Tammy, what
After
about
the year.
something like building relationships with external agencies
Yeah,
and
but very
organizations?
specific.
Yes.
You know, kind of
Such as-
listing,
So for example, we have now on the books to meet quarterly,
right,
and then we're bringing our projects, so that would be a goal of like
Right.
meeting frequently and then, you know,
Yes.
giving a,
so that we're
update.
saying it's a priority because we're gonna put attention on it in the evaluation, which is very measurable. Does that help any? I'm just trying to, I very much agree that it's important, and we want to state that, and as far as publicly, one of the things that would bother me if I were the public is seeing it as not important enough until number 15. I think it's more important than that, and
Well, this
saying that
was
it's
not
more
a-
important.
this was
I
not
know
labeled
we
to be a-
we need to get rid of numbers. We
Yes.
agreed upon that in the past. We need to go back to that, because people see that as, oh,
rank.
it's 15th. It's
But
not
that
very
is-
important.
That is the purpose of this.
I know.
I even stated in here,
What's
it's-
happening and what's.
it is not in order.
But people do, I know, but that's just human nature.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
But it doesn't go into the plan this way. This is just his staff document where he's giving us the things to talk about.
But if you look at the other
So
one,
let me back up for a second. On the strategic plan, we broke it into Appendix B, what's ongoing And once we start having the ability, resources, or what have you, we start down the priority list as shown in that Appendix B.
Yep, in order.
And not that they were exclusive, you didn't have to finish one to get to the
Right.
next.
That's correct.
but-
Simultaneous,
Yeah,
yes.
like number 9 is gonna get done.
Yeah.
Oh, not Strawberry, the one they're working on now. No, Mason Avenue, that one's gonna get done relatively quick.
If we're gonna make VDOT be a part of Rick's expectations, I would say then that the continuity of operations and the workforce stability and organizational capacity plan would also fall under that. I don't think that those
Yeah.
belong on this
Right.
priorities list, if that's the way we're gonna go.
Yep, I agree with that.
Well, I'd ask how involved, Rick, do you see that that was part of these issues, is that it takes tremendous amount of resources and time. We'd have to call it out and say, yes, we want him to go after that and spend the time doing that. So I'd ask you, how involved do you see item number 12?
It's very involved. I mean, all the ones that I suggested to you in the retreat are very involved. It takes a lot of time and thought, working with departments. The continuity plan is very engaged. So it is not something that you can just, oh, I'll just put it on my
Right,
list.
that's what I'm saying.
But it can be something that's an ongoing off
Oh, yeah, of course.
off again, on again project that you
Absolutely.
come and go to as you.
So given the amount of time required for item 12, I'd say that should stay as a priority. A visible priority here.
I agree.
I don't have a problem with that.
And to make a suggestion on item 15, to follow what Tammy is saying, we can move that particular item into the town manager evaluation and performance review.
For 27.
Correct. Correct.
Is there consensus on that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. All right, so, all right, move on. Consensus for there, Rick, so. Back up here, so, everybody good with that?
So I'm calling it ATA as time allows. That would be the second category. I've got 14, because that's a priority for me. It's not necessarily a priority for you, but it does impact time.
Yeah, it takes resources to get there, so that's correct.
12 as well. What about 11?
11 is an activity we've said we'd eventually get to. and
Right.
We've kept it on the list, and we're gonna have to figure out how we get to it.
So yes, ATA.
Okay.
Especially with the rail yard
Right.
possible.
And beachfront master plan, all of
Correct.
that is gonna have an impact.
Parking, it's gonna
Yeah.
be parking in
Yeah,
both
exactly.
places.
And 6 and 7 fall into that same category.
Yeah.
Okay.
As time allows.
Yeah.
I would put number 6 then at the absolute top.
I think that's what we said at our retreat, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Number
6.
6, the revenue share.
Should be the county share of the revenue.
All right, so with that direction, we can get now this Appendix B of the strategic plan updated accordingly, right?
Yes, but do you want the OGs ranked?
No.
No.
they're
No,
just
okay, so they're
ongoing.
just bullet points.
That's right.
And then the ATAs, you want them ranked. And the number 1 is number 6 on this list.
Yes.
Okay, and then what's number 2?
I would say the capital fire equipment.
Yep.
Okay. 3 is 11, 12, or 14?
No, I would go with either 12 or 14, depending upon how you view that organizational need.
Yeah, you choose.
All right, I'm going to say 14, because that's detrimental of making sure we have a backup plan of how things work. And then the 12. And then parking plan. 5.
Hasn't parking been on this list though before?
Yeah.
Forever.
Yes,
Been there.
yeah, and it keeps kind of getting bumped down and now.
Well, we don't
two
have,
things.
it's not so much bumped down, we have other priorities ahead of it.
Okay.
It's just-
And not just other priorities, but as we, like I said, as we do the beachfront plan and the harbor plan, parking is a piece of that.
Of
So
those,
we don't
yeah.
want to make a plan that we have to undo.
Right, which is why it's always kind of pushed aside until those projects are.
All right, I got it.
All right, so with that, can I make a motion that we adopt the community strategic plan as identified here with an update to Appendix B as we just discussed?
Second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Or do we just adopt the whole strategic plan?
That's what I said, the strategic plan with Appendix B changes.
Have to change.
And no, you cannot go backwards.
Oh,
Holloway. Holloway with an H.
okay.
Did Corky make it?
I don't know. That's what I was gonna check.
Wrong idea.
All right.
I'll put it there.
So, all right, on the next zoning text amendment.
That was quick, man. He slid that right in there.
Preservation actions, let's see. I believe that's Katie's turn.
Oh my God, that's a lot of stuff we got to do.
So I have presented the zoning text amendment 2026-01 Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act. There is a resolution in your packet, unless there are any changes you wish to make to the proposed text amendment. But we are hoping you adopt the resolution. And sorry, I don't know what page number the resolution is on. Did we do a resolution for this, Libby? Did we write? Then I may have omitted giving you a resolution, so if you would adopt this, and I'll get you your formal template of a resolution adopting a zoning text amendment.
Yeah.
I apologize.
All right, so I have one change I'm gonna make as a motion. It has to be under 32.236, materials to be submitted for review. And at our last meeting, I talked about the requirement for a site plan. In the comment, I had asked to be incorporated site plans in accordance with Appendix C. That did not occur. So-
You actually made that comment associated with the historic district ordinance, not with the Chesapeake Bay Act.
No, this is, we're talking about the historic, or we're talking Chesapeake?
Chesapeake.
I'll hold off.
Put a pin in that.
It's in here, and it says Appendix C.
I know, so we're gonna come to that. So Chesapeake Bay Act right now. Any changes?
No, in that regard, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution in order to move this on to the next step in the process.
This is it. This is the step. It's over and done with after tonight.
This is it.
And for adoption of this,
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? All right, I move for the adoption of the resolution of intent, 2026, I don't think that.
That's for the historic district.
please, will you get this?
You don't have a resolution for this.
I forgot to
Oh,
include the resolution
no.
for this
All right,
one. I
sorry.
apologize.
My bad. No, this is for,
Can we
this
just read the
this is
resolution
for
that
the
the
second
planning
one.
commission made?
is for the next one. So,
Just say you
Paul
adopt it.
jumped the gun,
I'll
I
give you
jumped the gun.
formal
Okay.
language, but it's basically accepting all of these, all the.
Do we want to do it as a roll call, do we want to do it as a roll call vote?
Oh, my
on
God.
that?
no, because we don't
Because
have,
we'll have to vote on it again.
we have to have a resolution. We don't go on, yeah, this one will.
And how soon do you think the map would be done? Imagine.
I'm hoping before the fiscal year is finished. Yes.
Wow. That's,
Yeah.
that's pretty quick. They must have a lot of data. So, all right, zoning text amendment, Article 8, Historic District Overlay, Appendix A, Definitions and Design Guidelines. Katie.
Okay, so again, we have been through this for some time now, working on this document for you. We did have a recent work session to review this with you, and I thought we incorporated everything, so I'm gonna go check the section you just referenced, Mr. Grossman.
Yeah, it's not published that way, but I'd like to make a change.
So what,
That's
it's
under
actually,
32.236, found on page 219 of our agenda package.
you're correct, and I'm not
All
sure
right,
why
so
it didn't
let
get
me-
published. We
let
did
me
make that change.
Propose something more specific, okay? I want to strike site plans under the first sentence, Historic District Review Board will require, take site plans out of that, and at the end of that sentence, add the zoning administrator may require a site plan in accordance with Appendix C. So historic has their scope, and the zoning has their scope with regards to site plan. And I'd make that as a motion.
Is there a second?
I hope Libby got all that, because I did not. I did not get
All right,
it, sorry.
I
was looking for the page.
take my page there. That's,
So you got a second to Paul's?
Okay.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
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 All right. So,
All right, so with that change, I'll put this on the table for adoption. I'll make a motion that we.
It's not adoption, it's a resolution of intent to send it to
Adopting a
public hearing.
Resolution of intent,
Yes.
2026-0416.
I'll second.
all right, got a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I know, I gotta read this part, I haven't read it yet. I started to read it last time. I move for the adoption resolution of intent 2026-0416, proposed zoning text amendment 2026-2, application of, from the town of Cape Charles to amend Article 8, Appendix A, and design guidelines regarding the historic district overlay, as noted, and forego the reading of the resolution. Roll call vote, Ashworth,
Yes.
Buda,
Yes.
Grossman,
Yes.
Holloway,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Buckles, yes. All right, new business, ground maintenance service contract awarded.
The last page of this?
Yeah, that would be, I guess you're doing it for Ralph.
Yeah, drops in there. So, you do have this in your packet. It was time to be renewed, so they sent it out, and Briar Height was the one that, submitted a bid. You see it in your packet, it's $40,445, and that's what they're, so we're asking for your approval.
What did that compare to last year? Anybody know?
Well, the line item for this budget item shows that we've spent $59,000 on ground maintenance.
So it's-
And we have a budget of $100,000.
We have a, I was gonna ask that question later, why we'll go from this to 100, is there something else in there, but I
They
guess.
might cover other stuff, the public works.
Not just Central Park, right? This is only Central Park.
Gotcha,
There you go.
never mind.
Thank you, Kim.
All right,
So the recommendation at the end, we recommend that council award the grounds maintenance service contract for Central Park to Bridal Height in the amount of $40,045.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
all, any discussion?
So wait, does Braddock Heights currently have the contract?
They do.
They do, okay.
Sole bidder too. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Almost done with one. All right, so, town manager
Personnel, Public Works has hired its second seasonal employee for 2026, and we welcome Wayne Gant. Wayne begins Tuesday, April 21st. We are currently receiving applications and inquiries for other seasonal positions, dock hands, and beach attendants. As far as training and education, the library staff has attended the Eastern Shore Tourism Summit. Jody attended, or Human Resources attended 2 webinar training courses, workplace responsibilities under the federal law, presented by the EEOC, and ADA and FMLA 101, presented by the Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division. Our police department, the training that they went through is the de-escalation, culture diversity, below 100, human trafficking, autism, threat management, gangs, criminal intervention, use of force, media relations, kingpin to educator, and participated in a mock training in the Northampton County Schools and Broadwater Academy. So as you see, these are the signs that are going to go up on the trail. So we did, and I also put it in my manager's report, giving details that specifics that are allowed and not allowed. And I did ask each one of those specifically to Ron Wolf as he was here. Although he did say something that's different in my report, so I wonder if you'll catch it, because I heard him say something different. So
Yeah, the scooter, the,
skateboards.
Skateboards.
Yeah, electric skateboards. He told me they were allowed, but then he said tonight they're not
Yeah.
allowed. So
Yeah.
I don't know, that, we'll have to clarify that. But I did ask, I went through every single one
yeah.
to try to be very accurate as possible, but until we have a sign up that shows, you know, which are allowed, which are not, it's gonna be difficult.
I worry that it only shows certain things, and people are gonna say, well, mine is not on that
Yeah.
picture.
That's why I try to be as specific as possible, because people are gonna ask, what about this? What about this? I'm gonna be evaluated next council, it'll be executive session. So I do have an evaluation. Paul and I are supposed to talk, so we'll get some talk time, and then this will go out to you guys. This is just, you know, we already mentioned it, but I have already been talking to VDOT. I did make sure that they have the map, that when we look at them, to go through exactly which areas are they open to reconsidering. So this will be before an appeal process to kind of see if we can get them to just work with us more. And that's all I have.
If I may, just really quick, I'd let Rick know from our Board of Zoning Appeals, Pete Bauman has resigned at this point. He's let us know he's had some circumstantial changes in his life, and he felt it was time for him to step down. He has served 23 years on the Board of
Yes.
Zoning Appeals. I wanted to make you aware.
Yeah.
Missed.
Can we do something to thank him, like a gift card and a card from the town? I mean, he really has been very loyal to the program.
All right, does, anybody, any council members have anything?
Yeah, I'll just say 2 things. With regards, I'll put together a little synopsis on the budgets from the county. But right now, there's kind of a disconnect between the school budget request and the county's amount of monies that they've had in the budget. But right now, it looks like county taxes will go up. It may go up even more depending on how they solve this gap between the school request and the county's budget numbers right now. But I just mentioned their health benefits went up 20%. You know,
They need to get Jody on
that
that.
as being, you know, they go through specific categories. That one just jumped out. The amount of money the state is giving now to the school system, of counties for the schools, is down. The county has to take more on, that's $1 million. So you can see there's big ticket items that they're struggling with that will still have to flush out at the county level. That's all.
Clayton, you got anything? Tammy? All right, we get a motion to adjourn.
Oh, can we go, I do have something under announcements.
Yeah, I asked them.
I was keeping my mouth shut until announcements.
All right. Oh, there are.
Yes.
Let me see page 2.
Okay.
All right, announcements, April 24th, 2026, blessing of the fleet. Yours truly will be there.
And then that weekend, I'll insert, because these are the ones. The, on the 25th is the Love Run. And that, the 25th, the evening, the firehouse is doing a big fundraiser. It's, what are they called, Amish Bandits or something, the band, it looks like Outlaws. But it's a huge fundraiser, we want to just get the word out to support that. And then, of course, on Sunday, we finish the Blessing Weekend by Blessing of the Worms at 3 o'clock at the New Ridge Youth Garden.
All right.
I had also an announcement, so, dates, I know we're trying to schedule an executive session. What I don't want to do is squeeze it in at 5 o'clock. That's my preference, not to squeeze it in between a regular work session and do it from 5 to 6 or 6:30. Given the subject sometimes that we have a discussion on, I don't want to be constrained by time.
So you don't want it at 5, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying if it is, make it at 6:30, and that's the only item that we discuss.
Gotcha.
It's an executive session, and whatever else we have, move it to somewhere else.
Okay.
Can we set the date for that?
No, I think we're soliciting.
I sent out an email today, because Rick had
Yeah.
confirmed with Davenport.
I understand.
that
Yes,
that's
it's
all-
important.
Also
Seven.
the night of our budget
Seven.
work session.
Seven.
7th, yeah, May 7th. But that's also our budget work session.
And that's what I'm saying,
That's why I
if
sent out the
you do
email
not want to
earlier.
squeeze something else in there and have, you can do the executive session afterwards, I have no problem, then we can go to midnight if we have to, but I don't want to squeeze it before a scheduled public meeting.
Sure, I can contact him and try to get a different time. Or
Can we
date.
schedule the public meeting earlier
Right.
at 5 so that we're not starting an executive session at 8?
Yeah. Would the reverse work? Because we have enough time.
This is on the 7th?
I said yes.
I said yes.
So that would
So
be
the budget
the
work
executive,
session, well, then that's the one that you also have Ricky coming.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
I
I
can
don't want
move
to
it if
start
it's better.
jamming this stuff.
Well, then why don't we go to the following? Why don't,
Or before. Do we have a time between,
you know, the
April the 30th, we have a special meeting for the
Yeah.
workforce housing contractor.
and then.
And the
Oh,
only
we
other
do?
date is the 24th, which is.
I didn't think I had that on my,
the-
could you have that on your calendar?
The following week would be the 7th.
Oh, I have hold.
Every Thursday.
the
before.
14th?
So the 30th is confirmed? I had hold on
I
it.
think you confirmed it, didn't you, with the contractor?
And that's the workforce?
Yeah.
Okay, I had it as just a hold.
Yeah, we should
Okay.
change ourselves to the same way planning gets paid every meeting.
So just confirm it to me. Do you want me to move on a different day to have Ricky come back? Yes?
We've already done that once, haven't we? It was supposed to be tonight.
It was supposed to be tonight, but he did not send the documents in, so I pulled it.
Started out in March.
That was the,
Yeah, I know, we keep moving it.
yeah, that was the direction that we don't have it. I want to make sure the public was able to see the documents, and they did not. And so
Right.
I didn't think
Yeah, that was a good decision.
Can we, I worry that we keep pushing things back further and further. What about adding a Tuesday or a?
Oh my gosh, we are meeting every Thursday,
It's
every
too much.
week
I mean,
right now.
We gotta look,
I understand,
Tuesday's
but
going
the
like-
ramification for staff is, it starts with us and then
Lord.
it roll, it's the proverbial, you know what I'm gonna say, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it goes downhill, so, I mean, we can't keep piling on.
I mean, I
We're
agree,
piling on
but
us
it's
and
just,
then
there's
we're
so
piling
much
on
right now.
you guys, which is not good.
I was under the impression, I guess I should have sort of held my calendar, that this month and next month we're gonna be almost every Thursday.
It is,
And I
right.
don't have a problem with that, but I think we need to give
Yes.
the time to the topics
Right.
that need to be given.
Right,
So I don't have a problem with the 7th, the 14th, and the 21st of May.
me either.
I mean, I do have, but I will make myself available.
So just block the 7th and the 14th and the 21st?
Every Thursday.
Yeah, every Thursday.
Okay.
Except the 28th. That's not on, of May.
Okay.
So it'll start at 6 on the 7th then.
For the budget work
For the
session
budget.
only. And then
What-
the 14th is what, when do you want the gathering
We can't push that back too far because it's
No, I thought we were doing that.
I thought we were doing that on the 7th.
We're doing that on the 7th.
Just at 6.
So the
After,
budget work session, is it back to 5 or 6?
5.
Okay.
I thought that's what you said, 5.
Okay, so the executive session stays, we'll just put it afterward, okay?
Right.
And then the beachfront master plan will be put on a different day.
The 14th maybe? Because you just threw that, you added that to your calendars.
What's the 14th again?
The following
It's a
Thursday.
Thursday, the
I'm trying to
next
get Ricky
Thursday.
to
No, I know that. What's on the agenda?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, then let's do it the
That's the
14th.
one that I recommended to you, and you said you came back and they said it's 7.
Yeah, okay. That's the beachfront master plan on the 14th now.
Bring your sunscreen. All right, of course, we have May 21st, Town Council regular meeting. Any other announcements?
Don't we also have, Katie, for folks who may want to learn more about the harbor?
Community input sessions.
Right.
Yes.
That are running on Friday the 24th and Saturday the 25th, Friday from 4 to 6 in the evening over at Strawberry Plaza, and Saturday 10 to 1, I think, I forget what we advertised for, over at Strawberry Plaza as well.
Isn't that the Love Run?
Yes.
The Love Run, but we're gonna be at the backside of Strawberry Plaza, so that while people are there getting their trophies, et cetera,
Learn.
they can walk around. Again, it's not a formal meeting, it is meant to be an amble stroll through the boards of pictures and possibilities.
Perfect time, perfect time. Because they're gonna come, when they finish, they're gonna get water or something. They can stroll over there.
And they'll be looking at it.
All right, now can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,